Hey y'all, it's Renegayde, and it's time to spill more Reali-Tea on all of the blindsides, betrayals, and backdoors that the 8th week of Big Brother 26 had to offer. But first, while I get my COVID diagnosis, let's introduce our co-casters. First off, he's setting records as the most vetoed contestant in Big Brother history. It's Doug Dimmadab. Doug, you've officially completed the first pre-jury phase of one of the most chaotic seasons to date. Do you think we might have spoiled you giving you this season right off the bat? And how are you feeling about this cast heading into the last few weeks of the game here?
I definitely think we definitely spoiled me with starting off the season because I feel like any other season that would have been a bit boring. But this season has just been chaos, 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 chaos. And I feel like we're gonna see even more chaos ahead. I'm hoping we see more chaos ahead. Uh,
I mean, the longer Angela stays here, we can only hope for the chaos to keep going. I mean, at this point, she only has 3 more weeks to go. We could literally be seeing Angela in the end game here, which is insanity to me. Um, Before we dive into this here, because we have a lot to talk about Angela here tonight. Also joining us tonight, he's likely going to marry, kiss, and evict Quinn. It's QuackrrJack. Jack, as someone who has seen a number of Big Brother seasons, how did the pre-jury phase of this season rank for you amongst all the seasons, and how excited are you for this endgame?
This is honestly one of the best pre-jury seasons we've seen in a while. I mean, okay, we still have some of the common out boots like right in the beginning, but then we get some really interesting characters and people making mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake on top of 14,000 other cast members making mistakes. And the chaos of it all is what makes it so fun and stand out so much. I have to say though, I would also not only evict Quinn, I would kill Quinn if need be. I'm trying to get that $750,000. Look, everything is fair in Big Brother in my mind, right? Like, I gotta do
I
what I gotta do to win.
mean, I don't know if the rules are out Outlast level here yet. I don't know if we're allowed to just start murdering people left and right, but I mean, I'm sure maybe there's a clause you could probably expose there. Who knows? Just ask Ansley.
I
You might be
mean,
able to, make something work there.
this week is Survivor with them living in the backyard, so anything's possible, right? Expect the
Oh,
unexpected.
I mean, way to jump into spoilers for this week, Jack. I mean, we're only 3 days late to this podcast from the thing. You can't believe you just exposed what's happening this week on the show. Oh my
That's my
gosh.
bad.
Oh my gosh. Well, I do have to agree overall here. I would say, well, I don't know if any of these players are going to go down in the Hall of Fame as like any extreme characters. Clearly, there's no strategic masterminds among this cast here. I'm just so thankful that everyone in this house at least has an inkling of self-preservation mindedness in this cast because they're all making, I would say, at least smart votes to say. I don't know if they're necessarily making protect the correct strategic moves at every step here, but I mean a lot of these people are like falling back or ass backwards into these moves that are working out for them. So a lot of people are blowing up their own alliances and they're still in the best positions in the house. So this has just kind of been insanity. But because it's so fluid here, it's literally one of the best seasons to date of this show, which is kind of insanity to think that we could get to season 26 and be experiencing such amazing season. Even with the editing, it just feels like everything is kind of just really coming together this season, which is I really hope it just continues the course. We're not going to as I've done here in the podcast before, like with my draft team, I'm not going to ever speak into existence, any finalities here. Big Brother can change on the dime, as we can see here. But as things are going here, every twist and turn has really worked to this season's advantage. I would say, especially with the AI arena twist that we got to experience through the first 7 weeks, I really think that that was a formula that really hit for me. The fact that they really couldn't strategize until a few minutes before the vote. I think that really kind of stuck with them throughout the entirety of the season. And while I do think there were really ways that they could have played around it, clearly with the strategic acumen of this cast, they were never going to figure it out. So I think that that chaos is kind of still stuck into how they're playing the game currently. Although it's officially over now, I want to know what your thoughts were on the AI arena, and do you think this should become a new staple in Big Brother moving forward here?
I I thought that the AI arena was a great twist and added some great drama and basically chaos that probably wouldn't have had if they just had the two people put up and had the veto and have it be boring as we kind of saw with this week. And I think it should be kind of like how the hidden immunity idol has been in Survivor and be a staple every season.
Jack, do you have any thoughts on
One
the
thing
AI arena twist?
one thing I really love about this is that we don't have necessarily the guaranteed backdoor early on in the game, and I think that's something that like a lot of us aren't used to seeing. Like backdoors are a big part of the game, and when you watch backdoors just happening constantly, you're like excited because you're like, oh, this person's gonna backdoor, and I can't wait for this. This is gonna be great. But this took it to another level of like your backdoor might not work. Like it might not work for you because you might have to deal with the fact that they could come out and with three nominees, I think that's where the big thing starts, right? Like three nominees early on, it's hard to play the safe game. Although they found a way to kind of do it, some of them failed epically, and that might have been the most exciting part of this whole season. Is that even though people were attempting to play it safe, to not get blood on their hands, they ended up sending home their allies. They ended up getting people kicked out of the game that they never wanted to get kicked out of the game. They put up people on the block that they actually didn't want to go home, which was dumb. And this cast, as we said, isn't exactly known for their mental fortitude. But what we're seeing is just a lot of fun and unexpected twists and people going home who no one saw coming. And if nothing else, that's fun for the
Yeah, like I
viewers.
said, like I said, I don't know if any of these people necessarily are all stars to me as far as like personality wise, but just the fact that it's just
Wow.
very chaotic. I'm here for it. I will be here for it. It's giving me Big Brother Canada season 6. It's so much in the fact that it's just like I never really know what's going to happen here. That's why I don't really mad. I'm not so mad about our draft teams, as we kind of said here. We're kind of all down to one person at this point now. But who really could have predicted this season? I mean, I guess Callow, because she still has 3 people in it. But this is definitely one of the more enjoyable formats that they've had here, and I definitely can see them sticking to it for future seasons, and I'd be all here for it. As Jack kind of said here, I think while the back door is a great strategic move, for me, it gets a little kind of boring. It's kind of a little slightly unfair to some. I'm not saying it's unfair, but the fact that, like, for example, like week one, like you just come in the house and just kind of based on who you are. Like, say, for example, if you just don't have the chance to play for the veto when there's like 10 other people playing for it, like it's just so easy to just kind of get picked off. Whereas at least now, at least you have a chance to fight. So I do like chance that you can switch things up at the last minute, and I do think that's something that maybe Big Brother was kind of missing from the opening format. So um, I would not be mad if this was the format of the show moving forward. I think this would be a lot of fun, and it really opens the game up to a lot of new possibilities that we haven't really seen moving forward here, especially with the 2-player format that we really see this weekend. Um, I'll be kind of honest. I was really busy this week here in real life, so for me, I was not mad at all that this week felt very straightforward in the most part here. So we kind of jump in and talk as we go along here, but um, this week kind of starts following Joseph's eviction, and we didn't meet last week for a podcast, so y'all didn't get to lay Joseph to rest here. I want to give you your final chance to speak on Joseph here. What were your thoughts as Joseph became the final non-juror of the season here?
I'm sad that we didn't get a 9-person jury because I think those are more fun, in my opinion. I know people kind of get annoyed with them, but it does mean that the social connections you have are way more important in my mind because that's 2 other people that you have to stay good with for a while. But another thing is like, congratulations to Quinn for being the worst HOH of the season. um, someone was going to take the spot. You fought for the position in a way that I don't think anyone ever expected to have to, fight against. And I don't know that anyone can steal it from you at this point. So just like Tucker will most likely win, America's favorite person, you will probably win America's most least success or your least successful house guest in terms of HOHs.
Can I compare his HOHs to Lala Ree's bag look?
No,
Because
because
that's kind
Lala
of
Ree still
what
has
the
half of the
equivalent
thing.
felt like to me. True, she at least had
Bag
a
look
corset,
wasn't
right?
the bag look wasn't that bad.
Lala Ree literally got an award for it, and Quinn will not be getting that. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true, very true. Doug, I know you were Joseph's biggest fan here. Go ahead and have our final words here as we lay him to rest here officially.
Well, Joseph was robbed, obviously. No, I'm just kidding.
Kind of
Joseph, I'm
was.
glad he was gone because that meant that the trio of Chemo, Decor, and Rubina are still here, who I'm hoping will make it to the end somehow. But he really didn't really do too much. Really, I just don't really have too many words because I just don't think he really did too much, and I think Quinn will definitely go down as probably one of the, at least probably the worst strategic player in Big Brother history because of how bad you he screwed up his two HOHs, especially with this when he literally said, "Oh, you're my number one. Let me go put you up."
Well, I mean, we'll see how that turns out for Quinn later this week here, but yeah, I don't know if Joseph really did anything to ever help his game, being that he was so committed to trying to play like the Doctor role and just not do anything when you need to have a lot more charm than Joseph had, fortunately. So it felt very abrupt at the end of the day, but uh, I can't say that it's not deserved here. So Eh, I was gonna say that I kind of wish I picked Quinn over him, but then this week happened, and I'm like, you know what? We make our
It's
choices.
who knows.
We'll just run with it. I didn't pick Angela, and that's the real true travesty here. So,
True.
um, so we can kind of start where our week begins to carry in once again. So Joseph is gone. We are at our final nine, and we get into our head of household competition, which is a before or after quiz competition based on the videos that they had to watch overnight. And I kind of like these competitions where they make them watch something overnight and have a little bit more of like an endurance role to it, and then they have to memorize everything that they had just watched the night before. I do think it's a little easy because I mean I don't think you know active memory tests are that hard in a lot of ways. I mean, especially considering what we had like four people get through all the questions here and get to the tiebreaker. So I don't, they're not hard, but I still like them. I think they're fun. Maybe the novelty is gone because they're a little bit expected, but ultimately, as we see here, Cam, Chelsie, Chemo, and Leo all end up lasting until the tiebreaker round, and it was Chelsie who ends up securing her second head of household win of the season. Now, Chelsie has been a huge frontrunner at this point. Do we think Chelsie winning this head of household was good for her game?
Yes, definitely yes.
Yes, because if she doesn't, she could have been put up on the block.
By
Mhm.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
quite of all people,
He
right?
defends it.
Yes, by Quinn.
Yeah, I don't think it was bad for Chelsea here at all. Chelsea, while I don't necessarily agree with everything she's doing here, she seems to be one of the players here that definitely has her head on her shoulders the most here about the game. I'm a little surprised. I didn't expect her to have even really kind of any grasp on the game strategically, honestly, preseason. But the more we see of her, the more I like Chelsea. But then there's some other parts about Chelsea where she takes things a little personally. Um, in this whole situation going on with her and Cam and Mackenzie, where she likes Cam, but like Cam might like Mackenzie a little bit here. Maybe he just likes flirting with other girls. Who knows? Because we don't even know anything about Cam. He never talks. It was all just a little weird, and we could kind of talk where Chelsea begins the week here because she basically kind of decides that she wants Angela out, saying that she's taking the easy way out and getting rid of like a guaranteed goat who would be taken easily to the finale. I don't mind this move. initially hear from Chelsie because she's in a pretty good standing with everybody in the house at this point. I don't necessarily think that, Angela was a big threat to her game, but Angela does always pose that role of being that goat who will always be so tempting to kind of keep dragging along and taking up space. And eventually, at some point, there's not going to be enough space for you and everybody else around who's playing a good game if you're having the goat around with you too. So. I don't necessarily think this was the worst move for Chelsie by her nominating Angela and then Chemo kind of like as a failsafe to get rid of a member of the trio that have been named here. Um, but I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this was the best move to start out with her here, or would you have done something else initially with her nominations?
I definitely would have put up Angela and Quinn there because those are the two most biggest goats in the game that are left. And if you're wanting to get rid of a goat, might as well make sure you have the chance of getting one or the other.
So I disagree. I think that the best move for her, and no, I don't think Angela is a bad target per se. I think it's really annoying to watch people play such a safe game because at some point you do have to make a move. And you know what's unfortunate is she decides to put up Angela and then she ends up with essentially two people on the block who like no one really like gun ho about like, oh, we need to get them out, right? And so if you have no one on the block that's like really a huge target for everyone, there's not a lot of oomph behind it to like kind of, I guess, keep that momentum going throughout the week. And part of the problem is Angela is so loyal to anyone and then betrays them that like she is a threat and I understand that. But if you really want to break up this like trio that you've been talking about forever of Chemo, Rubina, and T-Core, you needed to put two of them up together. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what her best move would have been. If I was in Chelsea's position, I have a good alliance with Cam. I have a good alliance with MJ. I have a decent alliance with T-Core, kind of, but like, let's be real, I need her out because she might beat me at the end just because people like her more. So, I mean, if it were me, I probably would have put up at least Chemo and Rubina and then thought about it if one of my allies or I won the veto if I do something different.
See
But,
the argument
playing
for
it
that.
safe, I guess, works.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because then you can backdoor T-Core as well if you. And I think the person who's the most dangerous is the person you want to backdoor, especially since this is like the first opportunity really to backdoor.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't. I mean, I see your point there, but I don't see. I mean, you're already kind of pissing off the trio anyways by putting one of them up, regardless, and you're still to some degree, like I said, you're leaving Chemo up there as a failsafe in the case that people are like, okay, well, if we don't think Angela's a juicy target, well, then we could take out the biggest person from the trio. I think she was kind of getting the best of both there, personally, for me. So, I don't hate the move while she kind of gauged other things. I don't think it was the worst decision we've seen this season,
Definitely not.
at all whatsoever. But I kind of actually want to shift our focus here just for a moment to the trio because they're people are really starting to become threatened by these three. Chemo, especially, seems like he's becoming the biggest target out of the three just because he has a peen. And as we know here, the women are setting records here, being that 6 out of the final 8 at this point now are women, which is amazing stats here. This would never have been the female cast I thought would have ever came together. But now, there was that night one thing where the women alliance kind of was hinted to, kind of thing, or maybe night one on episode 3, whenever they finally actually merged together. So, who knows that maybe this will be actually the cast where they're able to outdo Big Brother 6 with the most women at the end here. Who knows? Obviously, I wouldn't want that because it will kill my draft team. But um, one thing here is that I'm kind of surprised that more people aren't seeing T-Core as a threat. Like, I mean, I think Chemo and Rubina are starting to kind of wake up a little bit to the fact that they know they're likely going to continue to be shields and will be nominated for T-Core will. I mean, Rubina brings this up to T-Core at one point during the week. We don't see it on the episodes, but she's very much so like, you know, trying to discuss with T-Core the fact that, that we're going to always be targeted before you, and T-Core is trying to very much so like, no, we're friends, we're all equals, but I think Rubina especially knows that, they're targets before T-Core, and T-Core has done something, or is maneuvering some way or another to keep herself safe. So my question is, do we think it's Chemo and Rubina's best move to continue working with this trio? Or do we think that they're making themselves a bigger target? And should they maybe throw T-Core under the bus and separate themselves? Because I'm kind of wondering that maybe they should, but I'm a little worried about that move because, truthfully, all three of them are not very good at competition. So I think their only real goal at this point is to kind of make themselves really like valuable as as three votes that you're gonna get that you'll probably end up beating in the end. I don't know. What are y'all thoughts here on like the best move and what the trio should be doing here at this point?
I think there's a different move for each of them. I think Chemo needs to realize that he's not in a great position because everyone wants to seem to put him up as a pawn, even but pawns go home. No one wants to touch Chikor because she's so loved by the house. So it kind of becomes one of those, what is the right idea here? Because you have T-Core in your back pocket right now, right? Like she's never going to vote you out at this point. Maybe staying with her is great. Maybe forming a new alliance, but this late in the game, it's kind of hard. And the people you have aren't really trustworthy. I mean, look at Angela. Last couple people she's been aligned with, she's turned on all of them. So I mean, if I were Chemo, I would consider branching out a little bit more. We did see that maybe he could have something with like Leah and MJ, even though they are kind of at odds at times. Rubina, on the other hand, I think she should stay with T-Core because I think the idea of this woman's alliance is very beneficial to her. I think the girls also discussed they would prefer that Chemo stays with them as long as they could at one point during it. So like, it's hard to say that there's a right or wrong answer here, especially with how these people are playing, because normally you would go off of logic. Logic doesn't really work right now that well because people are putting their like friends up on the block constantly. So I'm almost like, maybe don't be friends with nobody actually. No friends, no friends, because I'm not trying to go up on the block.
Take the Angela route and just do your own thing, put yourself on the bottom, and then realize you're at the bottom and sell everybody out. Okay, Jack, I
And
see
then
your
maybe
strategy.
go into paranoid mode and be like, I think that they were talking shit about me because I wasn't in that conversation. And I think they were talking shit about you because I noticed you weren't gone in the bathroom. And girl, they were kikiing it up like they weren't before when you were here. So I'm just letting you know. Like maybe that's the strap. Maybe that's the greatest Big Brother strap that I am just unaware of.
Doug, what would your strategy be here if you were one of the trio? Because I know you obviously want to see this trio succeed here. How would you get them to the final
Um, maybe probably convincing like Leah maybe that hey, we're gonna be a voting block for we'll be a voting block for you, and then if you get the end, you have our votes type of thing. So if you get us further, then they'll help her and try to take out the other trio. And then hopefully by the time maybe they'll take out the entire other trio, and then you have the more numbers. And Angela's always crazy and unpredictable, so you can probably take out Leah then.
Honestly,
But I think
oh, go for
oh no, I was just gonna say I think just the best way is just to lie to Leah now and then push her under their bus when you get to like 5.
it. I don't
That's
disagree with that strategy, honestly. That was kind of what I was saying to Jack earlier, and we could kind of talk about that a little bit in our future, our talk here, because I think that's a little bit more relevant to what's happening now at the point. What I do kind of agree with both of you to some degree. I honestly, if I was Chemo, I would be because we've seen here that could make a really good relationship with Leah. I think this should be the time where he needs to kind of really focus on that relationship with her now that she doesn't have really anybody else outside of Angela, and Angela can't be trusted. So I think this would be the perfect time for someone to swoop in and become Leah's number two. And I feel like Chemo had the opportunity to do that. I don't know if Chemo's going to do it. I don't think he has the forethought to do it, but I think it would be brilliant. It would be what I would be doing if I was chemo. But as far as Rubina and Ticor, I think they're doing probably the best thing they can do. I think Rubina. I'm very kind of interested though now that she's a little bit switched on into this relationship. If she gets the opportunity to, I wonder if she's going to try to sell out Ticor. I'm just very curious. I think that would be very brilliant of her. To if she's able to sell it, but like I said, we'll see if she gets to that point where she's able to. If she gets let's say if she gets to the point where she's that self motivated, because it seems like she just kind of wants T-Core to win. Seems like this whole house just kind of wants T-Core to win, which is just giving me all sorts of Survivor token teams flashbacks, and I'm vomiting a little bit here because I just see T-Core going on a white rafting trip here with Chelsie and Mackenzie, and then be like, "We love you so much, T-Core. We just want to give you the game." I'm just like, no, no, we don't want that to happen here.
Brother.
I was
Stop
gonna
Brandon
say,
being on the season.
yeah, please, no, no, not another coach season. I mean, we do love. Actually, I've grown to enjoy coach, but that's for another podcast. But speaking of, I guess, iconic characters, Otev made the return this week here, y'all. But
Yay. That's my favorite competition, by the way. Just want to let you know that. That was my favorite comp every season.
Is Otev even a
well,
comp?
I mean, at this point, I don't know if you could really consider it a competition because, I mean, do we even really need to talk about it? I mean, for the first time in
Yes,
Otev
yes, we
history,
do.
well, I mean, like, talk about it in the face, like, everybody knows what we're about to say here, because the first time in Otev history, we had one question. Only one question that was asked. One person got this question correct, which I'm just like, what is happening here? This is literally the epitome of this season. Like, you say Fever Dream, you say Hot Mess Express, like the fact that everybody just basically let Mackenzie become a part of Big Brother history now and forever. Mackenzie, who spells her name Maken, will now forever be a part of Big Brother history, y'all. Oh,
I think
Doug,
she was
what?
already there when she said those things about her brother, but okay.
Well, that was for other reasons here, but now she's officially in stats history here, unfortunately. Doug, I have to know because this was your first taste of what OTEV has to offer. Did it give you what you were looking for?
From this cast, yes, because apparently from seeing this cast, you know how they left all their like electronics and everything at home. It seems everyone left all their brain cells at home because that's the only way you could have this type of outcome in this competition and only have one uh person get the answer correct on the first question. So it's pretty iconic.
I literally don't even have any words. Jack, I know you do have words, so take over for me. Tell me what I'm feeling here.
Okay, so let's talk about it, right? Because for some people, it's less embarrassing than others. Okay, so here we have people who played in the first competition of the season, basically. And, I mean, first HOH, pretty big deal because we remember that Angela got a win, but only after she made her way through all these different rounds of like random rules. What's interesting is that every single person, but specifically Chelsie, who is the other person who did not play in the competition, did not remember that Cedric was an actual possibility of an answer. Um, it's interesting for a couple reasons, but especially because you know Chelsie was in that suit, so Chelsie was like, "I can't believe I didn't remember that," and she's like, "I should have been evicted for that." And I kind of felt her. I was like, I do kind of feel like y'all did deserve to be evicted right then and there. It did feel embarrassing. I understand why they all thought it was Tucker because he didn't play. So I can at least understand that, okay, there was a little bit of like a oop, this got kind of sus. Like this was a little bit of a like a trick question to some extent. But they did play. They did play. They just the first round was them making a team, and only Mackenzie seems to remember. And I don't know if that's because she was also the other person that didn't get to do anything because everyone else had picked teams already or not, but it worked to her advantage, and she gets the one round veto. I mean, Otev is sitting up there like, you all are really trash. And they were like, haha, Otev, you're being mean, haha. And then they all proved that they indeed were dumbasses, like he said. And I was like, this is embarrassing. And the worst part is, too, there were people up there that probably saw that MJ didn't have Tucker and was probably just like, haha. Like, if I would have come up there, I would have asked the people, like, you have Tucker, right? Because you're allowed to discuss. We've seen it in other seasons. And people have gotten up there, realized their answer was wrong, and left and gone back, right? So it was a possibility, but everyone was so sure. It was like one girl said, oh, it's Tucker, and everyone else said, telephone, it's Tucker. Like, and then they had to edit it to make it look like it was like a 15-minute comp because no one could find Tucker's name for some reason for so long. And I was like, everyone was throwing away the Cedric names, and even people on the sidelines said that they knew what was going on. And so I just found it interesting that no one decided to like say anything or do anything because, you know, other people were very aware of the scenario.
Yeah, only with this cast, honestly. I feel like there's even a point too where I feel like Angela noticed that MJ had it wrong and was like, she's gonna get it wrong. I'm not gonna tell her. And it's like, oh well.
Oh my god, if she told her that and no one gets it right.
Well, and
That would have been
then you know what the
amazing.
worst part was
They probably would have just
actually?
scrapped the competition at that point, but what was the
Chelsie
worst
went
thing,
up there
Jack?
without a name at the end of it. Chelsie did not grab a name. She was just like, I'm the last one up, so I'm not even going to grab a name. I'm just going to go up there because I can't find Tucker's name. And to me, I would have felt that was very sus because it's like, why can't you find Tucker's name, though?
I don't know if
And
Chelsie
like you
wanted to win
said,
it.
she was the one. Well, she said she wanted to be in it longer than her nominees. So I was like, if there was ever a sliver of hope, you know, one of these people, she should have known one of these people could have failed this. And turns out, right, actually 5 of them did.
Including her.
Right, including her. And the worst part was she didn't even try. She was like, I couldn't find it. I'm going by. I was like, that's like we've seen in the past that someone's gotten an answer wrong, and so someone else gets to stay up there. Like, never give up. Never give up. And
Exactly.
this is
Well,
just proving that.
I don't know about this cast anymore, but you know, um, I honestly, when it comes down to it, I'm not mad because this is just like I said, this is the stupidity that has come from this cast and just the amount of just like I just so many things I would not expect to have happened here. Um, they're proving me wrong. I'm not sure if I should be like worried about the future of America and in the world and whatnot if this is what we're getting in Big Brother, but you know, it sure as hell is entertaining. So the world might be on fire, but we'll have a good time on the way out, I guess. um, let's go ahead and continue our good times here with our weekly Angela Watch conversation here, y'all, because this
Oh,
week, paranoid Angela, she starts to spiral once again here, thinking that her time is probably up here at the final 9. And I think we were all kind of feeling a little worried for Angela. I think we're all, scared. But as we've learned here, Angela does her best work when she's spiraling and unhinged at her most. So, the more sleep deprived she is, the better her game likely will be here. Because she starts to suspect after a conversation that Jack kind of mentioned earlier here between a few people, Quinn and Leah specifically, when they were talking with the trio. She starts to wonder, are Leah and Quinn actually working with this trio? And goes to Chelsie, to which Chelsie and MJ apparently start thinking after this conversation. I think they were kind of already thinking before this, that they kind of wanted Leah or Quinn out. Maybe more Leah than Quinn. Who knows how much this conversation actually sparked them talking here, but based on the edit, um, this gets, like I said, Chelsie thinking, and Chelsie and MJ both thinking they need to take out one of Quinn or Leah. Quinn tries to say that he's committed to their 5 of him, Chelsie, Cam, MJ, and Leah. But Chelsie is also locked in solid with this trio and won't be a target. So for her, keeping the trio around isn't the worst idea. So this leads to the veto getting used for the 8th time in a row, record setting, and another record because MJ saves Angela, and Angela now has the distinct honor of being the only house guest to not only ever be vetoed from the block 3 times by other people, but by 3 different people. This all leads me to ask one question. Is Angela Giesling the greatest player of all time now? Because, like I said, truth be
Yes.
told, this edit is saying if it wasn't for the words of wisdom of Angela, then Chelsie never would have made this move. So, can Angela actually claim this move as hers?
I think she can. I think straight up she can because Chelsie took this like she just immediately went with it. Like she was like, I know that she even says at one point in the edit, I know that she kind of says some things that are crazy at times, but you know what? And I was like, oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. She believed it. She completely believed it. I think Angela deserves more credit than what these housecasts are giving her because I truly believe that like at the end of the day, her like white crying mom tears that are completely fake because there's never any like moisture generally there might not seem like a real thing to us, but apparently it's working on the house guests, and I'm not too surprised that it works, even though they all claim they know that it's not real, but for some reason their actions and their words are not lining up. So I don't know. I feel like she can claim this move. I feel like she can be like, I had other people choose to use the veto on me. I convinced people to go for people when I was on the block to get myself saved. I mean, did she or did she not convince Chelsie and Mackenzie that this was in their best move? Like, this is the best move for them. MJ and Chelsie both were like, you know what? Our girl god alliance that we have together, this is the time, girly. This is the time. And Cam was over there like, I don't think we should put Quinn up. And they're like, shut up, Cam. No one asked you. You don't have
Who
an
are you,
opinion.
Cam? Who are you, Cam? You're not
Right?
even on
And we
this
were all like,
season.
we were all like, oh shit. Like they cared more about what Angela had to say than anyone else, it seemed like. And then they had the audacity to tell Leah why she's probably going up on the block and say that Angela said all these things about Leah, which she did, and Angela tells Leah, "Girl, I never said that," and then tells her almost exactly what she said to the girl, and then has a conversation with Chelsie earlier and was like, "I'm so sorry, I like misconstrued this. Like, I was trying to say that Quinn was the one involved in here." And either way, at the end of the day, if Chelsie didn't believe it, like she said, why did Quinn go up instead of Leah? I'm just saying, I think that Angela got that paranoia into their brains a lot more than what people are giving her credit for. And for everyone out there who's like team Chelsie, team MJ kind of thing, like I'm sorry, girl, but they got duped. They got duped hard. This is maybe why Angela should be on the block every time, even though we don't see her as a threat. She is a threat.
No, Angela's a way better of a player than I think they're giving her credit for. Absolutely, like she has shown that, like I think we've talked. Like she's the only person to have a truly successful head of household week. Like, granted, the way that she went about it was a little unorthodox, but I mean, Mike Gabler did the same thing to Ellie in Survivor 43, and they gave him mass amounts of credit for him getting Ellie out in the messiest way possible. So, like at this point in time, getting people out doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you get them out. Just get them out of the house. Doug, is Angela the biggest threat in the house here? Is she the true diamond in the rough that should be worried about in this cast?
I definitely think that she should be they should worry about her because she's the only one that has actually had a head of household that's like, here, my target is this person, I want them out, and then they get out, and there's no drama about switching it up at all.
She
And
definitely
now
seems
that
the most
she
focused. I will say that.
And now that she's been able to like somehow convince Chelsie to go after Quinn instead of Leah, when like Chelsie is most spectral of like Leah not being with her. Yeah, she if she can actually articulate her game at the end, she has a pretty good resume so far.
Hmm. Makes me wonder if she's taking a little bit of the Taylor Hale approach, if we will, with not necessarily being the most ingratiated in the house, but kind of trying to slowly work your way back in. Obviously, she needs to work on the working her way back in part. But she has a lot more positive upsides, I think, than we're kind of saying here. I put her number 9 on my power ranking last week, but I personally still believe that she could possibly pull out an upset here, and I would be all for it here. And I think if she does, this would be the best season of Big Brother that I've ever seen. Just saying. Um, so either way here, Angela is off the block, and Quinn is now on the block. But before we talk about Chemo versus Quinn going into eviction night, I have a very important question for y'all. Out of the final 9, who would you marry, who would you kiss, and who would you evict? Jack, I need you to talk first. Because this is what the entire last episode was all about.
So I feel like, and this might shock some people, we know who I'm going to evict. It's Quinn, so let's start with that one, right? I
Easy.
think I might have to marry Cam, and the reason I say this is he doesn't really talk. He's going to make good money, and I'm going to use that money. No, I'm serious. Like, shut up, listen to me, like you do everyone else in the house, and give me your money. No, like seriously, does that not sound beautiful? And then I would definitely kiss Ravina because she's the prettiest girl in the house. I mean, there's no debating that. I'm sorry, ladies. You can like Chelsie, you can like MJ, you can like Leah, you can like Chemo, you can like T-Core, you can like anyone in that house more. But at the end of the day, Ravina's the prettiest girl. Period. Like,
Something about Rabina,
so,
too. Won't even lie, because she has a little bit of that hood energy. She's probably a freak in bed too. Just trying to say, she's probably down. She's probably that down girl. Won't lie.
damn.
She gives me that energy. Where she's like, you know what? Not for energy, not for anybody, but for my boo thing, I'll do what you want, girl. like, I'm like, and I love that energy. I love it. Doug, you need to know though. Who would you marry? Who would you kiss? Who would you evict?
I would evict Chelsie.
Oh.
Oh, is it
Uh,
because she's loud and Painless doesn't like loud?
no, no,
You're not
because
evicting Quinn?
I would
Quinn's on
evict
his
Chelsea
team
over
though.
Quinn. Well,
So?
that, but also Chelsea is definitely like the biggest threat to like make it to the end.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
thought evict was more like the nice way of saying kill because you hate them kind of
Evict
thing.
them from life.
oh, evict
Ooh,
them from life.
that's what I thought it was. Was it not?
I
Evict Cam
mean,
because I would have to kill no one.
Um,
If Cam ain't
if
even
it's in the game,
there.
I want to evict Angela and I want to kill Quinn. Okay, so we're aware. If it's evict in the game, I want to evict Angela because I'm not allies with Quinn, so I'm not going home on his HOH. Like, good luck. But if it's Angela, like anyone's target for Angela going home or getting backdoored when she manipulates them.
well, I mean, I was thinking more of just like viewers, what our thoughts were, but I mean, like, you could throw yourself in the game and be the 10th house guest in this final 9 if you want to, and that be the reason why
I'm
you evict
Ainsley.
them.
I'm the Ainsley house guest.
You're the one forcing them to live outside for a week. Oop. In this heat
and
wave,
then
girl, how dare you?
and then I would say marry T-Core and kiss Ainsley.
Okay, well,
I've never kissed an AI, so I don't know.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about kissing like a wall, like a screen, but we live in a futuristic technology. You do you. You do you.
Robosexual,
It
nasty.
You do
could
you.
have been worse because that Julie.
Well, here's the question: would it be Ansley's Ansley, or would it be Ansley under the guise of one of her
Hey, it's
AI
Ainsley.
instigator?
Yeah,
would it be Ansley like how she was on day one?
It's
Real person
Ainsley.
Ansley with blue hair.
Ainsley.
Stop saying Ainsley. Oh my god.
Who is this Ainsley person?
Why are they in the
Uh,
house?
Who
I'm
is
scared.
Angelica?
It was Ainsley all along.
oh no. Okay. Well, I have to say, I agree with Jack though. I would evict Quinn because clearly, he needs to go. He needed to go. He's gone, and thank you. But can I also say my new choice, if we weren't allowed to pick out of anybody, was gonna be Leah because she literally admitted that she has a crush on Quinn. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
ugh,
fair.
Yeah, it's like
like thank you for evicting him now. Thank you because seeing her lower her standards that much at that point would have been, ugh.
What happened to this
Thankfully,
chubby chasing thing?
I
Did
don't
she just go
know.
for anyone? What
or
is going
or
on?
does she think that she can fatten him up?
I mean,
I'm sure he'd be down for it for her, but
I was
like,
gonna say he
as a
feels like the
fat
type he
person
would just
myself, what the
binge for
hell?
it. He would binge for Leah. I don't ever say we should do this here, but he would. He would.
He would
I don't
evict
condone this for
himself
viewers.
for Leah. He would definitely evict himself for Leah. He
Well, I
would
mean,
do
he kind of
anything
did
for
this
her.
week. um,
Like,
let's see. If I have to marry anybody out of this cast, since I can't marry Tucker, I guess I'll marry Chemo. He seems sweet. He seems like
Oh
he'd
yeah,
be the kind of guy to come
nice.
home and like he'd be cooking for you or something if he could cook. He likes to eat. Clearly, I don't like the fact he talks with his mouth open all the time, but I think Chemo would be a fun husband. And then Kiss. Can I say Jerry O'Connell? Because I'm running out of options here, and
No,
he
no,
technically
give me the
was
yes,
kiss
yes,
one.
he
yes,
technically was on the episode on
No,
yes,
Thursday
yes,
because you know what
yes.
but he's
he's
not a house
fighting with
guest. You
he's
can't pick.
fighting with Ansley to take over Julie Chen's job. So you know what I'm picking Jerry O'Connell.
Leave, leave whoever Ansley is alone.
Can we talk about Jerry O'Connell, by the way? Like, how random was that? I was so
Yeah.
confused. Like, I know we saw
I'm,
the tweet beforehand, but I was still just kind of very taken aback. But I thought it was
I'm,
fun. Like, I didn't mind him. Like, he seemed very excited to
were
be
they
here.
trying to? Were they trying to advertise the new Georgie and
I
Mandy
think so.
show because he played Georgie in Big Bang
Something
Theory?
like that,
Oh,
sure.
probably. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they were like, okay, well, not only are you on like this show, but you're also on like another one of our shows that we're trying to like coming out this fall. I could see that happening. I didn't mind the change of
I
energy
actually have
though.
a theory. I have a big theory about this.
Hmm. Go for
Okay,
it.
but you have to hear me out. Okay,
Hmm.
so he's the only one that said yes after he found out that Quinn was going to be evicted. That's
no
my
one else.
theory.
No one else wanted to be there
Everyone
with
was like,
Quinn.
"Ooh, I am not." Like, Julie
Well, I
Chen
mean,
got
Julie.
COVID
Yeah, she
specifically
got
to not
COVID.
talk to Quinn.
I feel that.
She got COVID. She said, "I'm not talking to Quinn." COVID.
She's like,
Like,
I've actually had this test for like the last 3 weeks, and I had it since like Brooklyn was here. But you know what? We're gonna go and pull this out now and be like, we have it. Sorry.
I almost used this on Brooklyn until I saw Quinn's gameplay and knew that I would have to bring it out at some point. The finals was a
Ugh.
guarantee that I'd have to see him, but this is too fucking much.
Well, we've talked a lot about it, but I mean, for me, it felt like the writing was on the wall really once Quinn got put up on the block here, and that's a lot of the downside to the two nomination Big Brother. It feels like because a lot of times when the backdoors happen, it just feels like the week momentum is kind of over. Did anybody else kind of feel that way, or did we think that Quinn might have had a chance to work his way out of this?
Oh, I knew he had no way in hell of a chance of surviving that.
I think there's always a chance. I think that, especially with this cast, I don't think anything is set in stone. And the only thing that he had a guarantee of, in my mind, is that he was not going to get 2 of the 3 votes, right? Like that 3 is going to be together. Great. That's an automatic. There are only 4 votes up. He's got 2 of them locked, so it's a 2-2 lock. Now he just has to convince either MJ or Cam to really go for it, right? And then he has to convince Chelsie as well to be like, all right, this is the better move for me. And it's at this point where you beg, offer, steal, lie, cheat, whatever you have to do. That's what Big Brother's about. And if it were me, I would tell Chelsie and MJ, I'd be like, if you two vote to keep me here, I will promise I will never vote you out. I promise that if I am HOH in the next 3 weeks, I won't put you up because uh assuming I get like HOH as the 5th house guest, it's only logical that I have to then put one of you up potentially if someone else wins the veto. And I don't want to like tell you this lie, but I wouldn't put you as the nominees then. And I would like to say that if I got it at 4, I wouldn't do that to you because I straight up like, like you just have to bring out anything and everything. And I don't think he tried hard enough. Like for me, bitch, that's my life. Like in the game, I'm going for it.
Felt like he was trying, but not maybe in the most successful manner. I feel like there was definitely ways that he could have exploited their fear against the three here, and I definitely don't think he did as much as he possibly could here to do it. But at the same time, though, too, for my personal opinion, once Chelsea kind of put him up, I felt like he really didn't have a whole lot of ways to go here. His only real goal at that point would have been to convince, I think, Cam, I want to say, to keep him in the house. But if he wasn't able to keep Cam or get Cam and Mackenzie on his side, there's no way Chelsea would have been there to support him. So, you
He
know,
had 3 days roughly.
well, this house doesn't do anything until the day before, just based on the fact that they had the AI arena twist, and this was the first week without it. So it doesn't surprise me that they tried things to do things at the last minute. But that's you need to kind of lay some groundwork with people, so they have kind of some time to think about things. I think jumping things in the last minute, like this is why I don't even think like the last minute speeches really matter at the end of the day because they've had
For
weeks to kind of
chemo,
decide. I mean, Chemo's situation was a little different because they only had a few minutes to decide, which is why I think the A arena is kind of far superior here when it comes to things like this. But um, there's also ways, like I said, to lay groundwork with people so that way they're kind of already thinking about things throughout the week and you're not just kind of surprising things on people. I feel like the later you wait to tell people about things, it's good to some degree because, yes, it allows them little time to react against things, but at the same time, though, too, um, I don't think people react well to last minute switch ups. I think you kind of need to work it in, massage it in a little bit, and take a little bit of a slower approach. So I don't think Quinn really did everything he possibly could to get out of here, but I also feel like he was going to have a tough sell regardless. So I am of the agree that I think there's always a way out, but a lot of the times that way out is through like a door that's kind of locked. So um, I don't know what Quinn could have done possibly to change it because like I said, I think the writing was on the wall the moment he went up on the block. But being said, we are now down to our final 8. Thankfully, my draft team has stopped casually being exterminated at this point. Take a deep breath here for a moment. Okay, now that being said, so much has been happening in the house this week. So we're gonna get to some of the week 9 spoilers. So if you haven't been watching, girl, first off, what the fuck are you doing? Second off, go off and watch. Third off, okay. Now you can come back and watch here. Okay, so the feeds were down all Thursday night as we waited for an epic endurance competition to unfold. And when they came back on the next morning on Friday, we were greeted to the most glorious sight of Aaliyah at a household win. Her man was just evicted. She seized the power and won right afterwards. Yeah, I'm so empowered. Almost like Angela when she stayed up all night transferring those balls to the biohazard thing. Inspiration,
oh my.
yeah. But in a twist, it'll be janky week, y'all, and the house guests will have to stick outside all week, which feels like it's kind of hindering the strategic game since they kind of can't really like go off into their corners and hide and scurry, which kind of sucks. But as such, Leah started out the week making me want to punch her in the face because she nominated Chemo and Rabina for eviction. I just wanted to smack my head against the wall because I think she needed to make a much bigger move for her game. But lucky for her, this week there is a veto twist, and it seems like there are 2 vetoes for grabs. And not only did Leah win one of them, but married mother goddess of all Angela won the second one. Is this the possible best case scenario to see the season shake up one last time? And what are our final thoughts heading into what is sure to be one jank ass week of Big Brother? Doug, want you to start us off here.
I really hope that both vetoes get used and that we see this war between the two trios actually happen because it's been building up about the trio and now with Leah and Angela, the two people that are stuck in the middle. Hopefully that maybe they can stoke something in between them and have them going at each other finally, and hopefully put up Chelsie and MJ.
Well, I'm hoping for a Chelsea T-core thing if she really wants to get things a little spicy, but that's just my opinion here.
I would never
Jack.
say T
Oh,
core because that's my pick.
oh yeah, true. I'm more Team Chaos here at this point because I'm just like I don't see Chemo winning this, so I'm just hoping for the Angela victory at this point, so nobody wins the draft. Jack, what are your final thoughts here as we head into this janky ass week of Big Brother?
So something that I think is really interesting is you mentioned we have the POV and the janky POV, and I think the janky POV maybe it was like a search and find kind of thing that they weren't aware was maybe in the game. Which is interesting because like Leah has the janky POV, but something that I think is really interesting is who has the actual power veto and won the competition was Angela. Angela has now become another person, and though she's not the first person to do it this season, but she's the second woman this season to have won both a veto and an HOH competition. And that's a big deal because they were making it was a big deal when Leah won uh her HOH this week and became the first woman to do it since what, season 23, I believe, or something like that.
Oh, I didn't
Am
even
I
know
right
that
about
stat,
that?
honestly. Honestly, I didn't even know that stat. Um,
And and,
maybe
and
season
something
23, yeah.
I think that's what it was, but also more importantly, so in 1 week, two different women were able to do this, right? Like that's a big like important thing. But something that's really important about it too is this is another comp win for Angela. Angela is a player in this game, whether people want to consider her one or not. Whether or not you want to vote for her at the end of the day, it would seem like if Angela makes it to the end and has so many comp wins, has used her has used her like place as a power in this competition to like make a difference here, like there's something to be said about the fact that she is indeed still actually making things happen in this house. She is winning competitions. She's doing a lot more than what people are giving her credit for. And if she uses her veto this week, that's another time that she changes the game. And I just think it's interesting because I, I see like the writing right now. I see this very thin path that we once thought probably not going to happen. That path is starting to get a little bit brighter. This cave is like someone's taken a rock out of the caved in scenario of Angela making it to the end and actually winning, and someone just took another rock off. Like now there's two peaks of light coming through. Angela has, I believe, now the most challenge wins, tied with MJ, if I'm not incorrect about
I
this,
think
right?
Chelsea too, right? I think Chelsea
Uh,
has three, MJ has three,
I
Angela
thought
now has
Chelsea only
three.
got two HOHs. Did Chelsea do something else?
She won a AI
Did Chelsea
arena.
get an AI? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So that puts her in the standings of like most wins of people left in the house as well. It's not just a girls thing. It's like literally Chemo and Cam only have like a competition each, I want to say. So
Hmm.
like she currently is tied. And assuming that Leah's janky POV is not an actual competition she won it for, because that would, I believe, put Leah in the same spot. Like that means Angela now has the same amount of like huge wins as other people. And even if Leah, let's say, did win a competition, that would put Leah on the same level. And there we see three women all in the top 8 right now who are at this point, these two are at least guaranteed to make it to uh the top 7. Like that's a big deal in, I'm sure, in Big Brother history. And the fact that it actually opens the door for her to make the choice of what's going to happen this week. And how does the janky power veto differ from the normal power veto is what I want to know. Because if janky's supposed to be bad, what does that mean? So I'm
Yeah.
not sure what's going to happen here, but I think it's about time that even though they're annoyed at her, maybe people need to start looking at Angela and say, she's not just here as like a filler cast. She's not a floater like people might consider her to be. She's not just a goat. Like maybe they consider her that, but she shouldn't be seen as that. She
She
should be
is the
seen as
married mother of married mother. Of all the married mothers.
she is the married mother of the competition. You know, she's the only married mother left in this competition, and she might be the only married mother left on finale night, and she might be the first married mother of this game to win. Who knows?
Oh
She's
my
taking Brooklyn's
gosh.
title so fast.
Oh, poor
It's
Brooklyn.
becoming a reality. I'm just saying.
Imagine Brooklyn's life here if Angela wins on finale night. Brooklyn's gonna be so bitter.
Oh,
So bitter.
so mad.
And I hope Angela just does nothing but eat a whole bunch of charcuterie. All the charcuterie in the world around Brooklyn. Well, I gotta say, this is whatever happens here. This has just been a very fun season, very unexpected at the end of the day, and I'm very intrigued. I haven't been very intrigued in Big Brother. Actually, that's not true. The first 6 weeks of Big Brother 25, I was extremely invested, and then everything went downhill after day 44. But this season is continuing it for like the very first time in like literally, I want to almost say decades for me. The drama and everything is just everything's working at every point here. I'm just I'm gonna go ahead and throw RuPaul out there because I cannot wait to see how this all turns out. And hopefully, if y'all made it this far, you can't either. Thank you so much again for listening, and please like and subscribe because it lets us know that you're enjoying all of the content. Be sure to catch all of our continuing coverage on Big Brother 26, Global All Stars, and what else we may have in store here? Like maybe Challenge Season 40, we'll do some mid-season coverage. Maybe some mid-season coverage on Drag Race Philippines, The Anonymous, Circle just started too. There's too much going on here, but we're gonna cover it as well as the premiere of some old favorites like Survivor and Drag Race UK later this month. So very excited for all of the goodness that will be here. But until then, and until next time, y'all. On behalf of my co-casters Doug and Jack, this is Renegayde signing out. But remember, keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye.
Goodbye, Merry Mothers.
Bye.